as we said, setup wise was good as long as we can get that club face pointing a little bit less closed. Okay, you've got to think most of your shots or your tendency for your bad shot is that way. So we've got to do whatever we can at setup, get the club face sitting down at least square.
Yeah.
Okay, and that grip better. That moulder grip certainly helping that thumb now is a bit more on top. I think gives you a bit more of a sort of neutral grip there rather than your hands underneath. Okay, but in terms of the swing, if we watch this one here now as you go back, club face on this one was actually pretty good to be fair, pointing down. But because the sort of body stops as we come through, the ball goes left, your arms sort of flick through your hips in the lower half. Now haven't really moved from where they started.
Yeah.
Hands have sort of overtaken. It's going left, and the lower half now, that right foot hasn't really sort of a movement forward just because, well, the hips are going somewhere. Compare that to the same good backswing you had on this one. So club face now pointing more down to the ground, which is good. So the club face now is in the right position or a better position as we twist through. More hip turn. The right foot now is off the ground as much now as it was when you finished that swing, and continues on through up onto that right foot a lot more now. The knees are starting to come together. Your belt buckle now is starting to point towards target. This right hip is starting to rotate. So the body is leading the swing and keeping the club face square, as if you're sort of playing a tennis shot or skimming a pebble.
Yeah.
What you get is you get to about here somewhere, and the finish line that we said before is sort of here. Okay, your left hip and your arms have got to get ahead of that before the club. What you do sometimes, your club gets back and the club overtakes. There's the club face there, and your hands are back here. You see, the club's gone doink and just flicked it through. Okay, when you get a better movement, the club can stay behind that and then stay towards target. It will feel to you, as we said before, it's going to go over there somewhere, but it doesn't. And that's kind of what we've got to try and do, is overcome what feels natural. Your natural and square is this way at the moment, so let's get the grip better, which you certainly are. That will obviously help with the grip. I think in terms of sort of visualising on here, what might be quite a good idea is get yourself looking at that, perhaps screenshot that when you get the video, and then remember what that looks like, so you got that as a checkpoint. So see where your thumbs are pointing, see where your V's are pointing there on your right hand up towards your chin and your right shoulder, rather than being too far around this way your right hand as you do sometimes. Okay, so getting those thumbs a bit more on top. I do that. That's what we're looking for in the grip, with those sort of V's, the flat lines there, your thumb and forefinger are making, pointing a bit more vertical at the grip. Okay, if you grip your hand too far underneath there, it will come back to there, and there's the club face. Okay, so screen grab that maybe as a check, so you can go on the range and hit some golf balls and go, what should it look like? Check in the mirror, that sort of thing, and get that club, as we said, toes pointing up on the way back, and the toe there at this point is pointing down on the way down. Okay.
So my wrists have gone.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I think you get a bit more shoulder turn as you go back. A little bit of range of motion, a bit of sort of limitations, that sort. But the actual movement there isn't too bad. We turn the shoulders better. Maybe a little bit more hip turn. But in all honesty, Matt, I think the main focus for me is get the body working better through and getting the ball flight going that way. Once we start getting comfortable hitting the ball 110, 120 yards straight, then we'll sort of think of the things, because unfortunately if you start thinking about this and this and this, you'll not do that, and the ball just goes straight left. Hit the ball further, but further left, so it's not much of a thing. So it's building up the sort of the jigsaw, shall we say, bits and pieces together. But I think at the moment now, if we can sort of hit some balls now with that and get the ball going more towards target, as you were in this case, hands and body in the right sequence, and hit the ball straighter, more body turn, we can start working on some other things as we go through the hybrid or drive, or perhaps on the golf course, and some chipping and putting out there. Okay,
all right,
make sense, everybody? Yeah,
yep.
Good stuff.